Yoshi, this was truly a pitcher's duel. What was it like just going back and forth tonight?
今日素晴らしかったですけど、この要因っていうのは何だったんでしょうか。
ちょっとずつ毎週工夫しながら、少しずつ良くなってきたので、今週もまた、ちょっとこう手応えというか良くなってきてるなっていうのは感じてたので、いい感じに投げれましたし、先頭打者ちょっとホームランを打たれてしまって、すごく悔しかったですけど、なんとか切り替えて、投げてきました。
Because every week, because I'm just working out hard, and then every outings, because I started getting feel better and better, and then today, that home run, that was a little bit really good.
When you do lead off a game like that, what is just going through your mind when it comes to bouncing back and then completing your outing in the way in which you did and in which you were able to just efficiently navigate through the lineup?
その効率的にこういったゲームの上で効率的に投げるためにそれどういうことを考えなきゃ投げてますか？
試合に向けて。
during the game.
Yeah, during the game, like right after the home run.
配球の面だったりは、ピッチングコーチだったりと話し合いながら、相手のバッターの反応を見ながら、やってますし、イニングの中でもやっぱ少しずつこう調子とかが変わっていくので、それを感じ取りながら、大きくこう調子を崩す前にちょっとずつ軌道修正しながら、一人ずつ対戦していってます。
In terms of pitching sequence, I communicate with the coaches, and in between the innings, because sometimes I feel a little bit my condition, because my stuff coming out of my hand, it feels sometimes different. So I make an adjustment as it needed to move the game's move along.
This is the most that you've thrown your splitter in your career. As you were going through the outing, what made you lean on it even more?
Sorry, what was the last part?
As you were going through the outing, why did you use it more?
今日後半ゲーム進むにつれてスプリットが多くなったんですけど、そこの理由っていうのは何かありますか？
今日はここまでの中でも、かなりよくいいスプリットを投げれてたので、空振りも取れてましたし、こうカウントを進めていくのにすごく有効なボールになってました。
Because today, especially my splitter was working really well, and then I was able to get the swing and misses, so that's why.
Were you able to learn anything from watching Wrobleski? Were you able to learn anything from watching Wrobleski yesterday, since you both were able to really carve through the lineup?
ロブレスキー投手が投げて、そういうのを見て今日のラインナップに対処したっていうところありますか？
右と左なんで多少違うところはありますけど、すごく積極的に来てるなというイメージはありましたし、はい、そんな感じです。
Because I was, because Wrobleski's lefty, I'm righty, so there's a slight difference. But I think Mets lineup was being really aggressive.
You gotta go back and see the video of them all dancing.
I know. Kay just texted me and said they were all in tears, like jumping up and down. So
No, they were. It almost was as if the new strikeout dances, the Freddie. So they had it down pat.
that's good with me. They were so happy to go out on the field today before the game. That was cool.
Anyone would like to start? I did have on the field.
On that, what did it mean to have a health workers day, but then have them the sweet thing?
Yeah. We kind of wanted to incorporate kind of all of it, right? Throughout everything, it's opened my eyes to just all of the healthcare and medical, and over my lifetime, I've never really had anything like this, so it was definitely new. So I have much bigger respect for all of them, and to see them, today was the first time I've seen pretty much all of them since everything. So it was very special, very emotional. One of the main nurses, she was here tonight too. That took care of us, and so yeah, that was awesome. I couldn't have wrote it any better.
That just add meaning when you come to the game? Obviously that's a big spot for after you get the last out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do it for, man. I mean, you guys know I wear my heart on my sleeve when I'm out there, so I was pretty fired up to be put in that spot, and Doc trusted me to get those 3 hitters out. Those are no joke hitters right there, So I definitely knew I needed to be on my game, and everything felt really good, and made some pretty good pitches. I think even Will and I surprised each other with the changeup that I threw. So, tonight was a really, really special night.
At what point did you know that you might get the ninth?
So basically when we were kind of figuring out if Yam was going to go back out for the 8th, and then Blake and I kind of were like up. So then from there it was like, who did they want to choose, right? So then they chose Blake. Blake got the out, and then they weren't going to send Blake back out, so I figured it was going to be me. We scored 1 run, and so it was good. It was fun.
Alex, can you just speak on that love and support that you've been receiving from the Dodger Stadium crowd every time that you've stepped on the mound this season?
Yeah, it is. It is truly one of the coolest things. When my name's called on the announcement, my song comes on, and just the roar, right? I'm a big adrenaline guy, and that's that adrenaline shock is something that I can't truly explain, but it is one of the best feelings.
Yeah. And Alex, Dave said that when he gave you the save opportunity the other night, he didn't realize it was your 30th birthday. Did he come and tell you happy birthday afterwards?
Yeah, we exchanged some words and whatnot, and man, for me, birthdays are whatever. So I'm, we had a game to play, and it was all good.
To be able to use a changeup in that spot, it's kind of the way your stuff is played this year. What did you say about the evolution of your arsenal?
Yeah, I give that big credit to coaching staff and talking with Mark and Connor about stuff, and even Ryan Denick, he's a AAA pitching coach. We've gone back and forth quite a bit. Rob Hill and I have gone back and forth on it, but I've tried to incorporate it in years past, and it's been not very good. This year, with just the grip and the trust, and I was actually talking with Chris Archer about it. He had me throwing it at 100 feet versus 60 feet, and that kind of changed my feel for it. Having the third pitch, I think it's a little harder to game plan. Fastball up, slider down. Now there is a third component to that. Just gonna keep riding it.
What does throwing it from 100 feet sort of activate?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really know. Arch was watching us play catch in spring training. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, let's throw a changeup. I was like, huh? And then I threw it, and it was pretty good. It was really weird to throw it from that far, but you might have to ask him
Sounds
on that one. Yeah. So, because even he was like, I didn't really throw a changeup, but this is what I've learned. So, all right, I'll trust you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Isaac.
Well, I know it's been a bit of a grind at the plate, probably a little frustrating, but just to see that ball fall, I mean, was there a feeling of relief, excitement, obviously to go ahead and run? Can you describe just seeing one fall?
Yeah, it was nice. Haven't had as many hits or barrels as I would have liked, but still grinding out the at-bats, still able to take my walks and stuff, and come up with a huge hit right there, get the run and win the game, so I'll take it.
Seeing this pitching staff tonight, I mean, how do you describe what you witnessed and what it was like playing in the outfield when you have a guy, whether it's Yoshinobu, Blake, or Alex, and how efficient they were?
Yeah, they've been awesome all year long, those guys along with everyone else, so it's been a lot of fun to watch them and play behind them, so they give us their all every single time they go out, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
You mentioned taking your walks. I feel like you've had a lot the last few days. Have you tightened your zone at all?
I feel like my zone's relatively good overall. At times I might chase or just get into some tough counts where they make a good pitch and I chase, but overall it's been fine. I just need to barrel the ball a little bit more.
Well, when you get in a 2-strike count, especially in that kind of spot, did your approach change? Are you shorten up at all? What do you do to adjust?
I'm for the most part relatively the same, kind of just more aware that I have 2 strikes, but for the most part I try and treat every count roughly the same. I mean, with 2 strikes you have to be aware that some borderline pitches you might have to swing at, but that's kind of how I approach things.
you talked about not wanting to like top spin too many balls to the right side, like even just kind of looping one that way. Is that a sign of like just kind of finding a better feel with your swing if that one, you know, in the barrel?
Hopefully. I mean, I was a little late on it, which might have been why it went that way. But I mean, I'll take them. It's a hit, so.
We've been asking you an awful lot of questions about frustrations and stuff. How do you feel mentally? Do you feel frustrated?
Not like really. I mean, I feel like I kind of get myself out at times. With certain swings, I feel like I should drive more like up the middle or gap to gap that I end up topping or just fouling off. But that at times it's kind of just part of the game. But it's still early in the season. We still got 5.5 months to the end of the year. So we got plenty of time to figure it out. Hopefully it comes sooner rather than later, though.
When you do find yourself chasing and not taking like the kinds of swings that you want to be, what are some of the things you do to like get yourself back on track?
It kind of just depends. I mean, sometimes it's guys just making really good pitches, and that kind of is what it is. Sometimes you just find yourself chasing them more. You just got to try and just narrow your zone a little bit and look in certain spots of the zone, rather than just like swinging at whatever's thrown. So I just try and do my best with that and just try and hone in on that and kind of pick my spots in locations where I want and just try and be early with it and need to try and do a little bit better job at that.
What was it like watching Yamamoto and McLean just kind of go back and forth? Like, obviously, you know, facing Nolan and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I faced him, and obviously what he did last year and, so far this year, he's done a phenomenal job. So it was a great game by both pitching staffs. We were just kind of able to grind out a few more at-bats and just kind of take advantage of the situation right there at the end. So it was big for Yamamoto to give us those innings and, the guys coming in from the bullpen to close things out as well.
So far has been nothing but excellent pitching. When you look at just the matchup today, Yoshinobu and McLean, can you describe just the pitcher's duel that you witnessed during?
Man, it was old school, pitcher's duel, and you can see both pitchers feeling like they didn't have any margin. And after that first inning, and we were fortunate to squeak one out and the leadoff homer for Lindor. But after that, I mean, there was just nothing happening. Just two great pitchers, and we haven't seen McLean up close. I don't recall, but man, he's special. And so our guy matched him, and we had a good one tonight too. So for us to get him out of the game and maybe having a good at bat and playing a little small ball and getting a big hit. So yeah, good win.
Seeing Alex just close this one out and getting the save, what does it do when you have, of course you've got your closer Evan Diaz, but having options that you can truly trust in the biggest moments of a one-run game, what does it do just for what you can do with the bullpen and for someone like Alex having that moment?
It's huge. Obviously, we have other guys that we feel like that can close out a game, and Edwin, talking to the training staff and the pitching staff, they want to see a bullpen just to kind of, you're down for 4 days, whatever it is, and they wanted to see a pen before he got into a game. So we did that before, and so that's why we didn't go to him in the ninth tonight. But tomorrow, if he comes in after this pen, then he'll be ready to go. Correct. Yeah, he threw it. Call it 4 o'clock, something like that. So that's why he was not going to throw a pen and then throw in the game tonight.
Are you not concerned with the arm or knee with him?
No, I'm not. I mean, honestly, I felt it was benign from the outset, but we were going to be cautious, which we were. And for his pen, he wanted to pitch tonight, so which I respect and I admire. But you got to go through protocol of certain channels, and they wanted to see a bullpen. And
You said you didn't feel right there, right? That was about the knee, though?
yeah, yep.
Did his stuff kind of tick up in the pen?
It was, I think it was, they said something like mid-90s. So for a bullpen, just what you want to see.
Last year we talked about how Yamamoto, how much he had grown from the year before that. When you look at him now compared to last year even, where have you maybe seen some growth in him?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine any more growth. I think right now he's this is who he is here as one of the elite pitchers in baseball. And even after that seventh inning, the big the big strikeout against, I don't know if it was Vientos or whatever. Just the no emotion, getting ready to go back out for the 8th inning. Seeing a guy that was really throwing the baseball really well, and there's just kind of the ability to make pitches when he needs to. So for me, last year there was a lot of growth, and then he's just kind of carried it over.
You know, it seems like during at least like some stretches of every start that he's made, he's kind of had like no hit stuff. Do you think we're going to see a no hitter from him this year?
Excuse me?
Do you think we're going to see a no hitter from him this year?
God, we almost had one in Baltimore. It wouldn't surprise me. I do think so. I think that, you know, there's a few guys that have that ability, and the efficiency, the strike throwing, you know, putting the ball in play softly, can field his position. There's a lot of things that kind of lend itself to a no-hitter, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Who's kind of the last guy you kind of remember that, you know, every time he took the mound, it's kind of lurking there as a possibility?
Yeah, you know, obviously, you know, Clayton early, for me, just every time it's just the efficiency that he could do it. Haven't seen those other studs, you know, outside in the league, you know, very often. But this is a guy that because you have to be efficient enough, you know, to be willing to, you know, get through 9 innings with 110, 115 pitches, and Yamamoto can do that.
Dave, when you think about the elite pitchers like the Sneeds or the Scoobles, do you think that Yamamoto has done enough to put himself right in that conversation?
Absolutely, I do. And, you know, we don't have to look any further than October to see what he's done. But yeah, I mean, the huge velocity of Scooble and Skeens and what they've done, and rightfully so. But, you know, our guy has done it in the biggest of moments, you know, so he should certainly be in that conversation.
In a game like tonight, do you almost feel him raising his performance some when he sees like what McLean's doing on the other side too?
You do. And, you know, this is, I think in the last 3 starts, you know, I don't think the last 2 he was felt great, and it just didn't feel like it synced up. But tonight it was kind of vintage Yamamoto, where just the command, the split was just strike to ball, the breaking ball when he needed it. The misses were just near misses. So in his delivery, this was special, and it's kind of who he is right now.
Especially considering how much he threw that splitter tonight, is that about as good as you've consistently seen it?
Yeah, this is as good, and you know, we've seen a lot of great outings from him, but this is a really good one. Yeah.
How much can that single do for Kyle mentally?
I think I hope a lot, you know, and he's going through it right now. But for him to kind of stick his nose in there against Rayleigh and find a way to, I don't know if he was down 2 strikes or not, but just a flare ball to get a game-winning hit. He helped us win a baseball game, and so, you know, you face McLean, who was throwing wiffle balls up there, and then you got a tough lefty. You know, the game on the line, they walk Shohei to get to you and still hang in there and you know, get a knock was big for us. It should be big for his confidence.
That's been one thing you had to know they would probably intentionally walk with Tommy. Did you want to force that?
You know, I didn't know. I honestly, I didn't know. You know, Rayleigh is their guy to get lefties out, and you know, so, you know, you actually pick your poison with Shohei facing a tough lefty, and Tucker versus Tucker and Will. And so I did it to give Shohei an opportunity, and if we have a chance, if they do that, we still get Will in the mix. So I felt just to getting a guy to second base was the right decision.
Honestly, wasn't his prettiest piece of hitting, but just like the ability in a 2-strike count to kind of make contact, make some positive happen. Is that kind of like the value that he brings with the skill set that he has?
It is. You know, just to see the ball deep, to, you know, he doesn't typically strike out a whole bunch, and he's neutral typically, and see that slider or cutter, whatever it was, and just defend it off, not put the ball on the ground to give Will a chance to take an at bat was good, and then just obviously getting the hit was you know, icing on the cake.
Yamamoto, one more on him. He's such a methodical pitcher, very intentional with each pitch selection. How does that conviction and ability to commit to that mentality make him stand out from other pitchers in this league?
Well, I think that he does a great job. Certainly, the number one thing is his delivery is so consistent. His ability to make pitches, his pitch mix, the command, all that. but his ability to manage his heartbeat and not get too emotional, to continue, whether it's, we don't make a play for him or he give up a leadoff homer, which I think he did that in Milwaukee maybe in the playoffs, and then just still go down there and, settle in and continue to dominate. So that's just the mentality that sets him apart from a lot of guys, because, it's an emotional game, and he does as good a job as I've seen a starting pitcher manage those emotions.
Have you seen Alex kind of evolve in some of those spots where he's like kind of able to manage his emotions and execute pitches?
Does he manage his emotions? No, he does. He does. He's great. I think he's very comfortable being who he is. There's a lot of emotion when he takes the mound, and he's battle tested. He's been in a lot of big spots, and so for me, obviously not having Edwin available, I felt very confident to use Blake to get out of that inning to get Robert, and to have Vesia take on some righties in a close situation. So, yeah, he does a great job.
He's obviously had a lot of tough stuff off the field, and he's almost raised his game when kind of those milestones, touch points have come about this season. Just what have you seen from him there?
Interestingly enough, he's typically a slower starter. He has been the last few years, but I do think that missing out on the postseason for the rightful reasons, and didn't participate in the WBC, which is something I think he was excited about, looking forward to. Has that kind of stoked that fire to kind of even more so than he normally is. But he's throwing the baseball well, and no one prepares as well as he does. This guy is prepared, yeah.
The game time was just 2 hours and 3 minutes. Did you feel like it went back?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I kind of just wanted both starters to bank 7 innings and 1 run, and then get them out of the game, and let's just leave it to the bullpen. But fast-paced game, great pitching. I actually liked it. It was fun to watch McClain pitch, against our guy.
Shohei, after he got pitched, and it was a 0-4-7, and then do you have any concern about his swing or something?
No. I didn't. I didn't have any concern with this one. No, I did not. I'm sure he's still sore, from getting hit by pitch, but I wasn't concerned about it this week tonight. He's going to start. He's a starting pitcher tomorrow. Yes. All right. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Thank you.